Ricky Walford, the rugby league legend who walks on water.
If you're not there to take the pass when you need to and score the try, you're not doing your job.
Away to Walford. Walford's got plenty of space. Ricky Walford, and he goes.
How strong is your connection to country?
Very strong in the sense there that I grew up on the Namoi Reserve, growing up in tin shacks back in the day. There was anything up to 14 or 15 people in the four-bedroom house at one time.
Ricky Walford is a legend.
There was a famous phone call that changed your life.
Hey, Rick, some bloke by the name of Bob Fulton on the phone. Do you know him?
Great kick from Ricky Walford.
There's some days where you're kicking goals from all over the place, and then there's other days where you're missing from in front.
Walford to the corner. Walford!
And those youngsters in the New South Wales side, the butterflies they'll be feeling right now.
That sits with me and will sit with my family forever and ever.
Ricky Walford, the rugby league legend who walks on water. Where did that first come from?
There was someone in the crowd at Cogra Oval one day that had a sign or something up there, like an old sign, and I think it just stuck. But there was no way I was walking on water. It was hard enough walking on land to try and score those tries. But, you know, it sort of got around, and thankfully I was able to sometimes try and pull out those miracle moments so that justified the sign, I suppose.
Walford stepping beautifully. Walford getting away. Farah, last chance. They're going to go 90 metres under the post. Oh, they're all on their feet here at Cogra.
There was something otherworldly or spiritual about some of the moments in your career and the grace and the balance that you would bring to the game, and I guess it does sort of fit that walk on water description.
Thanks very much. And I suppose, you know, being in the position of the winger and you know, having to do some of the stuff that you have to do out there, a lot of the times it's making the inside blokes look better.
Walford over the halfway mark. Golden opportunity for the Saints. Walford's gone around. Walford's going to score for St George. What a start for the Saints.
Colin Renenbry born, Walgett raised, Bunjalong and Kamilaroi man. It's a beautiful part of the world to come from. And what was it like growing up?
Well, I don't remember too much about Colin Renenbry, obviously, as an infant, but if I don't mention Colin Renenbry, they get a bit upset and they say, well, you don't come from Walgett, you come from Colin Renenbry. So I just like to clear that up first, but the doctor who was delivering the babies at the time, he lived in Colin Renenbry and get delivered, then transferred back to Walgett over to the Namoi Reserve and spent the early infant part of my life there.
How strong is your connection to country?
Very strong in the sense there that in terms of my cultural background, I grew up on the Namoi Reserve for the early part of my life, and there was a lot of other families there growing up in tin shacks back in the day. No running water. You had to walk down with the buckets to get some river water, and I never really had my own bed till I was about 14 years old. I lived in a house where there's when we moved into Walgett, about, you know, there's anything up to 14 or 15 people in the four-bedroom house at one time. So most of my early life was sleeping on a sponge mattress on the floor.
The moment that you got a house in town and everything would have changed for accessibility to cricket in summer, footy in winter, is that when sport really took over for you?
The footy oval was just like a couple hundred metres away. Everyone's got a plastic footy back in those days because the old brown plastic footies, you couldn't afford you know, the
leather ones.
The leather lyre birds, which were the trendy ones. But we all had plastic, the old plastic brown footies. But and then a lot of the times we just played with a tin can. I still remember playing at the end of the big games playing. We'd all go to the footy, and then behind the dead ball, the in goal, we'd be there playing with a tin can.
Sport and athletic ability is often very praised, especially for our First Nations people, but academic ambition and education is just as equally important. So why was school a big focus for you?
I think initially because not many in my family went through to high school. There was a point in my life when I was in year 10. There was a program called a Disadvantaged Country Area Program, which was schools, and it enabled I'll give opportunities for people to come to Sydney to do work experience. As it was, we all went to a house in Warriewood, which is on the northern beaches, and I got a job at Warringah Mall as working in Myer.
Did you?
You wouldn't believe it. I was a bloody sales assistant.
What were you selling, clothes and shoes?
Yeah, I was like, are you being served?
Oh.
I thought I was in that show. And it did that for 2 weeks, and then we all went home. Come back to year 11 next year.
In 81, you were selected in the Australian Schoolboys, and I was looking at that team photo. There are some big names. Benny Elias was there, Mark Hone, Phil Blake.
Blakey. In the end, it was probably the making of my move to Sydney.
There was a famous phone call that changed your life. So what happened the day Bob Fulton phoned the servo?
I was working as, just filling up petrol cars. I was on the Bowser, and the phone rang, and next minute Joe's poked his head out the door. He says, "Hey, Rick, there's a phone call. There's some bloke by the name of Bob Fulton on the phone. Do you know him?" And I was filling up the Bowser, and the diesel was coming over. It was flowing over because I was thinking, Bob Fulton, what's he ringing me for? So he said, "Mate, we want you to come down and have a trial." And I said, "Oh, OK." I said, "When?" He said, "There's a ticket for you at the travel agent at Walford. The plane leaves tomorrow. Can you get on it?"
So you signed with the Roosters for a couple of years?
Yeah, for 2 years. I signed up there first year, and then my first job and I moved in with my Auntie Christine. I give her a plug there because she'll be wanting
Put you up?
Yeah,
for the whole 2 seasons?
I never graduated. I'm still on mattress on the floor at her place. She's only got the one bedroom, so I thought I got out of the mattress thing, laying on the floor with mattress, but that still happened back there at her place. Anyway, so I got a job at City Forward for Nick Politis.
And what was it like walking into the Roosters? I mean, this is such a famous rugby league club.
It was incredible because I wasn't a very big person when I came to Sydney. I was about 72 kilos or something. So what happened was Bozo said, "Mate, I think you might need a bit of weight on you." He said, "I'm going to get someone to pick you up." He said, "Well, there's 5 blokes who train down with George Daldry, a weights class down at North Bondi Gym." And my first experience wasn't a very good one because I'd never been into a weights room in Walgett. So they did the circuit training and the free weights. So I'd get on the bench there, put it down, and it got stuck onto me. I couldn't get it off. So next minute, Ian Schubert comes over with one arm and picks it up and puts it back on the thing. I said, "God, thanks very much." But I learned that was the catalyst for me to start working out what I needed to do if I wanted to play first-grade footy.
That's Warnicky out wide into Walford. Walford going for the corner, getting it out, and Walford's in. That is a magnificent try to Eastern Suburbs.
What was Bob Fulton like as your first coach?
He was really good, because a couple of times, obviously I didn't have a car, but a couple of times he used to drive me home.
Carpooling with Bozo, that's interesting.
I didn't carpool, he just dropped me off. And I was thinking, mate, this is good driving around his Mercedes, I'm sitting up with passenger in Bozo's Merc.
Do you remember your debut, round 2?
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Yes, very nervous. The thing is, they're all learning experiences, and I suppose in that sense, Bonnie, you've got to be prepared to take the opportunities when they come.
You only played 13 games for the Roosters across 2 seasons. Was that through opportunity, or were you just not quite up to that level of first grade?
I think, yeah, I suppose, but they had some really good players like Kerry Bosted and Terry Fay. They were seasoned internationals, those guys, and trying to knock them off their perches. It was difficult.
Cleo. Can't, yes, Walford. First try to Eastern Suburbs, 15-5 the score.
The second year, I suppose, the Bozo went to Manly and took half the team with him, so that's all right. But anyway, we got over that. And then Laurie come along, Laurie Fryer. One afternoon, he sort of mentioned to me that I wouldn't be part of the plans at the end of that season, or during the season. I said, well, what's going to happen? I'm on the scrap heap at, what was I, 19? Yeah, so that's the end of my first grade career, so I might be going back to Walgett. And my cousin rang up John Hayes, Chow, said, this Ricky Walford, are you willing to give him a trial? Chow said, don't worry about trying, just bring him over. The rest is history. So I went and signed with North Sydney.
Walford's going to run away from Jason Moon. He's fastest follower, John Sparks is coming across into Ben. John Sparks is there, but Walford will outpace a lot of them. What a great try. Oh, top try to Ricky Walford.
And finished the season top try scorer, top point scorer for the Bears.
Yeah.
Gets it away to Walford. Walford cuts on the pace straight down the middle. He's only really got Levy to beat here. Might beat Levy, I think. Here goes Walford. Here comes Levy. He's going to go pacey. And Ricky Walford will score in the corner. Oh, great try. And then getting onto it, Gary Dunbar to Walford. Walford's going to score in the corner. Beautifully following on and getting the loose ball was Ricky Walford to score in the corner to put first points on the board for North Sydney.
Like a lot of young footballers, when they start to make a name for themselves, their circle gets a little bigger and people come back into their lives. And that was your case with Eric Robinson, who's a South Sydney legend, a life member, and your birth father. What was your relationship like with Eric?
I admired him and I respected him, and I think in the end that's probably, and he had mutual respect for me. And in terms of the relationship, you know, you don't have that father-son relationship because, you know, I built that with my Pop Andrew. You know, I had that with him, with my mum's husband.
What was it like meeting him? Did you see the similarities?
Oh, yeah, you know, he looked a bit like me, I think.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I looked a bit like him, but anyway. But, no, I was a little bit apprehensive in the beginning, but I think in those situations you've got to work out how you're going to approach it, and I think I was a lot more mature, and I think had I'd met him a lot as a younger person, it might have been different.
Do you know if he ever came to watch you play?
I think he'd come to a few games. Obviously, he would have come to the Charity Shields because he would have wanted South to smash us. I could always hear his croaky voice there. You know, playing South at Redfern in a Charity Shield back in the 80s. And, Christ almighty.
It had very little to do with the noble art of self-defence. This was a good old-fashioned Donnybrook and just about everybody joined in the party.
I've heard it got pretty wild back in the early editions of the Charity Shield.
You got out of Redfern as quick as you could.
You had two phone calls that really changed the course of your life. The first was Bozo at the petrol station. The second one was a phone call from St George when you were playing at the Bears, and because the invitation to become a Dragon and to join the Red V.
I wasn't really looking to go anywhere from the Bears because they gave me an opportunity. You know, because, like I said, it could have been all over for me at the end of '83. But for whatever reason, I was getting $2,000, and then when I just got a call one day at the club, it was Roy Masters, said, "Can we have a catch up with you, a talk?" My cousin Don, the one that was acting as my manager, and he was doing all the talking. And then they said, "We were going to give you this." I nearly fell off the chair.
What was it?
And it was $20,000.
Oh my goodness, that's a major upgrade.
I was getting $2,000 over there at North Sydney. Anyway, so Don, they're cool as a cucumber. Because I'm looking, I'm going...
You're trying to sign already.
I'm going like this here, You're trying to say, what about that? You know? And he's going, "Oh, OK, let's have a think about it. I reckon I'll go down and grab a coffee and then we'll come back to you." He said, "If they give us $25,000, we'll sign today." They didn't even think about it. They said, "Just come back up and we'll get it done."
You should have gone higher. You probably would have gone higher.
Yeah, but anyway, they bought a new car.
And what was cousin Don's commission?
T-bone steak down at Coogee Bay and a few beers.
Well, here goes Johnston. He looks for Walford. He's found him. And trying to St George out of nothing.
And now you've got this incredible opportunity here at St George. And 86 is your breakout year in many ways.
And it's now to Selby. And look at the big lock forward go. They're going to score again. Walford scores. A magical St George try. Lenane throws the big ball to O'Connor. Then to Walford. Here's a try.
85 was a great learning curve, you know, because I had a few opportunities to play first grade but didn't quite nail it. I was able to fulfil that potential in 86.
And Walford, look at Walford. He'll get there and score.
We win the Panasonic Cup in 88, and it's huge. It's this incredible competition up against the Tigers.
Over halfway, got the pass away, Ricky Walford racing for the try line. St George's second try.
Well, Ricky Walford set up the first try, but he's gone to finish off the second one.
They're full of rep stars, and you guys staged the upset.
Oh, an intercept here. It's going to be taken there by Gordon. Gordon to race away over the quarter line. He'll be over underneath the post, and St George will open up a lead of 14 points to 4.
They were a gun side, you know. Obviously, they proved that by being in the grand final later that year. But it was just one of those nights where everything seemed to go right.
And here it is, the Panasonic Cup.
And your captain, Craig Young, retired at the end of that season, so it was nice to have a significant moment for him.
Well, that's right. You know, it was testament to his leadership that we put in on that night.
89, you finish equal top point scorer.
Ricky Walford. He's had a great year so far. He's scored 8 tries and he's kicked 38 goals for 108 points so far this year. The leading point scorer, the only man to have passed a century in points.
And there was a game against the Bulldogs. You went berserk.
Beatty to the quarter line, away to Mackay. Mackay floats it back inside Walford. Ricky Walford races away and goes in for try number 9 for 1989.
He had 4 tries, he kicked 5 goals.
Walford puts it ahead. Walford will win the race for the ball. Will the ball win the race? No, Walford will score his second try. Ricky Walford.
26 points just on your own?
Yeah, I think it was better.
Yeah, don't be humble, it's
no,
okay.
I think it was, yeah.
Away to Walford. Walford's got plenty of space. Ricky Walford, and he goes. Ricky Walford, a hat kick for the afternoon.
I was just in the right place at the right time a lot of the times.
Beatty's got Walford. Walford will go in and score his 4th.
And that's what you've got to be as a winger, and you learn that as a young bloke growing up, that if you're not there to take the pass when you need to, you know, and score the try, well, you're not doing your job.
Here's Rick Walford with the conversion attempt. We're right behind his line. And there it is. It's swinging around. What a great kick. As I said, he's in great touch.
What about the goal-kicking technique? Toe poke?
Toe poke,
It's extinct now.
It is, yeah. I'm glad, sort of. I don't know. I used to lose my friggin' big toenail on my right foot every year. It used to fall off. Yeah, I used to try and get a new one in the off-season because I'm banging it up against the corner of the leather ball and for like 24 rounds.
He struck it pretty well. It looks pretty good. Great kick from Ricky Walford.
There's some days where you're kicking goals from all over the place, and then there's other days where you're missing from in front.
This will give you a perfect idea if he strikes it well. Yep, no, I wouldn't call that striking it well. Way out to the left, no points.
Did you ever go around the corner?
No, I was never going to do that. I was thinking, well, you know, it's time for me to give it away. And I think Chucky Heron, he took it over after that.
Walford puts it down for a 4-pointer. First point of the preliminary final. The siren sounds in the background. And St George, they go to the grand final. Broncos versus Dragons coming up in 7 days.
92-93, the Dragons go back-to-back into the grand finals up against the Brisbane Broncos.
Now Michael Beatty brings the mighty St George down.
What did you know about these brash new Brisbane Broncos who were about to begin a pretty incredible dynasty through the 90s?
They always had the talent, seemed to always have, you know, individual talent across the park. And it was going to be a matter of time whether they could put it together. And obviously Wayne Bennett had the ability as a coach. I think in 92 we sort of, you know, overachieved a little bit and got there. We had a good side, don't get me wrong, but we weren't a side of superstars. We were like a good team.
Beatty away for Coyne. Clean for Walford. Walford for the corner. Walford scores a try.
92, the replays on endless. The 90-metre runaway try of Steve Renouf.
Renouf, we haven't seen much of him today. Now take a look at him as he crosses the halfway. They won't catch him. He's heading for the corner and he's over. Renouf.
And you're in the frame. And you got a touch to him just before the try line.
And Ricky Walford, too much pace for him.
The last thing I wanted to do was chase him for 80 metres.
No one else is getting
no
close.
one else is going to chase him.
Because people say you two only ran as fast as you had to. Is that true?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
And no doubt about it, they are the best side in the competition.
The 93 grand final rematch. And Tina Turner's, you know, front and centre. It's one of the biggest days that we've seen so far in the game, in the Winfield Cup. Injury to Jason Stevens straight off the get-go. And
He's also got a dislocation of the thumb. You can see it sticking out at right angles there.
Yeah, it was from a swinging arm on Glenn Lazarus. He's dislocated his thumb really badly. I think the bones come out of the socket from all the blood.
That grand final is probably most famous for Alfie crowd surfing afterwards, singing Dragons Can't Play.
Coyne used to suffer it more than us because when Coyne goes into the camp with the Queenslanders, Alfie used to give it to him all the time. That's the privileges of being a winner.
The crowd just goes berserk as the Blues make their way onto the stadium. And those youngsters, that inexperience in the New South Wales side, the Butterflies, they'll be feeling right now.
1990, you get the opportunity to represent New South Wales in State of Origin, and it's an amazing team. You've got Laurie Daly, Ricky Stewart, E.T., Wishart, Roach, Elias, Lazarus, Clyde, Siren. Like, it's an amazing year for you to step into the Blues.
And Ricky Walford, along with Rod Wishart, making their debut for New South Wales. What would they be feeling right now?
A bit surreal, I think, Bonnie, in the sense that, you know, the good thing about it, I suppose, is that we had the old country city games back then, and, you know, country origin, city origin, so that in itself was a great experience. So I was lucky enough to play 89 and 90 in country origin.
Daly, a little kick and chase, he might get this, he's done it, he's done it magnificently, looks for support now, Walford is there, Walford for the corner, he'll score! Walford in the corner, put it down to that magnificent kick and chase from Laurie Daly.
I remember coming in after putting my car in the car park or whatever it was, and then someone just said, oh, you've just been picked in the New South Wales team. So that was when I was walking to the club.
So it was just announced here?
Yeah, well, they'd just come up on the screen of the news. I think I just went home and tried to savour the moment. What was very satisfying was that I was considered at that time one of the best players in New South Wales. So that sits with me and will sit with my family forever and ever. And that for me was more important than, you know, getting picked.
Quick hands. Walford, chip ahead. Walford's taken out by Belcher. It'll bring a penalty.
And unfortunately, your Origin journey just had that one game. What happened?
Goal kicking practice, because I was going to be the goal kicker. After our final session, I had some kicks and I miskicked one and tore my quad. And then I got selected again for game 3, but couldn't pass the fitness test. It's a bittersweet moment for me because, yeah, it was great to get picked for New South Wales and play that one game. And not many people get picked for New South Wales from Walford.
Golden opportunity for the Blues. It's come back for Walford. Walford beat the Langer. Finally pulled out, got the pass amazing there. Try! What a great New South Wales try! That is unbelievable. The handling was just incredible.
Okay, well, that's the situation of St George leading by 8 points to nil. Another break. A big run upfield by Darren South. He's got the pass away to Johnston. Out for Walford. Walford around Renouf, and Walford goes in for another try.
At the Dragons, you were the first to start the Koori Corner, the famous Koori Corner. How did that begin?
Cogra Oval, we've got 2 dressing sheds. There's a visitor shed and there's our home shed. After training, everyone has a shower, so there's only 4 or 5 shower heads and there's 40 blokes all looking to get in there at one time, whatever, sweating and spitting and, you know, it just dawned on me, like, every time we walked in there's this visitor's shed with no one in it. And I just said, bugger this. I just took my gear and got my towel and went in and had a shower. Then after a while, there's a couple other blokes started getting the idea that we'll go and have a shower in there next door too. So after a while, there's 4 other Aboriginal players who have come and sit next to me. All our gears are in there, and it wasn't about this segregation bit. And I had to explain to the boys. I said, don't you like us? And I said, no, it's not about that. It's about all you blokes taking the showers and we can't have a shower because you're all in there. So anyone who joined it, like Andrew Walker came along a little bit later.
Gordy,
Gordy come in there and they're all there. And we put up a little flag then in the end.
Perfect.
It's made out of bloody electrical tape.
The Indigenous spa. That's perfect.
That's what it was. Yeah. Everyone was welcome. Everyone was welcome.
No, it was special. It was the Koori Corner.
Yeah,
It was very special.
Some guys have gotta build a reputation.
You were one of the stars of the Simply the Best campaign, and you've got to look closely, but Tina is standing over you with this medicine ball hammering into your six-pack.
It wasn't very pleasant at the time.
Looks great.
Yeah, well, that's what it was all about, the look.
The shirt off, all oiled
Yeah,
up.
I know, all glittering and all that sort of stuff. And she was a lovely person, Tina. And I think all the boys wanted to be in the
Well, you got the deluxe gig because everyone wanted to be the one working with Tina.
Yeah, well, I don't know how that happened. They must have just sort of took pity on me.
Nicely to Corowa. Look at Corowa go. He's underneath the post. Put the glasses down.
Who are your First Nations footy heroes?
Blokes like Larry, who were out there, Chicka Ferguson, Ray Blacklock, those guys. Artie, obviously, a lot older, but I think I had an appreciation for Artie, not only just watching him in the old footage, but when I started working at the Roosters, you know, getting to know him personally and then understanding what his beliefs and values were. And
just the visibility of the Indigenous round, how does it make you feel when it rolls around every year?
I think it's a great concept, and you know, it's celebrating the heritage of Aboriginal players. It's just testimony to the talent that's been there right from the start, and it's still living on.
We now celebrate a fantastic round in the competition. Had the pleasure of speaking with Ricky Walford today, Michael. Dragon's great, loved by so many. Ricky Walford.
The All-Stars is one thing, but to have an Indigenous round is great too, because you know, it's a celebration of our culture and our longevity in the game.
Still very connected to Walgett. The Ricky Walford Shield's been going for over 30 years.
32 this year, Bonnie, so I hope it's an opportunity for the kids to have a great day, and that's what it's mainly about. But it's not just the Aboriginal kids, it's all kids that come from in and around Walgett and then surrounding communities. The concept is based on kids staying at school, and it's run during school hours, which is, you know, congratulations to the schools for participating and letting the kids go for the day. Obviously about sport, rugby league and netball in general, because they've got Netball Carnival going simultaneously. So it's just a great day.
Oh, Ricky Walford is such a class act. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bonnie.